We have just had some huge fight announcements and I'm going to react and break down every single one of them. And there's only been 3 of them really that I'm going to be breaking down in this video. But they are huge fight announcements. And we're going to start with my most favourite one. Cutelaba versus Magomed Ankalaev 2. The rematch. They didn't overturn the loss. But what they did do is they gave Cutelaba a chance at a rematch. He has nothing to gain from taking this rematch whatsoever. Neither does Ankalaev, so I respect that both men have stepped up to the plate and taken this rematch, because this is a fight that I'm guessing that neither of them are really too happy about taking on. I'm sure that both of them could think of very easy ways to get to higher positions in the rankings. Shogun Rua, Paul Craig, OSP. You know the general list of no-chin guys that are floating around outside the rankings. But this fight is amazing, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm so glad that they've made the rematch. I don't know what to think, but I'm definitely going to stick with Cutelaba. I don't give a fuck if Ankalaev landed more shots in the first fight. I don't take anything away from the first fight. In fact, Ankalaev may have left the first fight with more damage than Cutelaba. I'm not even joking. If you haven't watched my breakdown video, go and break it down. Magomed Ankalaev may have left that fight with more damage than Cutelaba. Because, hey, kicking people's arms really fucking hurts. And I know it's going to hurt Cutelaba's arms as well. But I'm guaranteeing you Ankalaev left in a worse situation than Cutelaba did. That's how bad the stoppage was. But either way, I feel as though Cutelaba's still going to get this job done. But it does pose the question, does Cutelaba lose that element of surprise? Because he had this whole game plan of playing possum and having Ankalaev think that he's hurt him and then he's going to bounce back and catch Ankalaev coming in. But like, now he can't do that. Unless he's got the balls to do it twice in a row, which I don't think is going to happen. He now no longer can do that. So now it's Cutelaba's turn to go into his little box of tricks and pick out one of his favourite ones. There are many Cutelaba openings to fights that people won't expect coming. He can either come out there and be a full grappler, like he did against Khalil Roundtree, and just completely ragdoll you. He's probably not going to do that against Magomed Ankalaev, but then again, who knows? It's Cutelaba after all. He can act like he's rocked, which he tried to use against Ankalaev. He's just a magician. He really is a magician of the fight world, and he's going to come out there this time. Who knows what he's going to do? Probably going to have all the same antics. Maybe he comes out there this time and just really sticks it on Ankalaev and gets in his face and throws haymakers. You never know what's going to happen with Cutelaba, and I feel like that is going to win him this fight. I know that Ankalaev is still going to be the favourite in this fight, 100%, but I am picking Cutelaba. For some reason, his bullshit stoppage has now made me more of a fan of him for some bizarre. He's done nothing. Cutelaba did nothing to earn my respect here, but the referee stepping in has made me sort of vicariously become a fan of Cutelaba. So I think he's going to go out there and he's going to beat Magomed Ankalaev in the first round by KO. This fight is now way bigger because it's a rematch and all of the controversy around it. And the winner of this fight, whether it be Ankalaev and whether it be Cutelaba, is going to be the next hot prospect at 205. 100%. And if Ankalaev's ranked right now, which is first of all, fucking ridiculous that they put him in the rankings after that performance, because it wasn't enough that it was a bullshit stoppage, but for them to even move him into the rankings above guys like Ryan Spann, who's 4-0 right now if he beats Paul Craig, I don't understand. But either way, I feel as though this is a great rematch. I'm looking forward to it. This may be one of the most anticipated fights I've had all year, because it's got more likes than Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. It's got more likes than Curtis Blaydes versus Alexander Volkov, which are the 2 fights we're going to get to in this video. It's got more likes than Marlon Moraes versus Piotr Yan, almost, and it's been out for like a day or 2 less than they have. This is a huge fight. I feel like this is almost like a title bout going down. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm still team Cutelaba. I think he's going to go out there and get the job done, and if karma exists, Cutelaba should win this fight, and I think he's going to win it by first round KO. I still believe he's the guy to beat Ankalaev, and the fact that he's taking this fight again shows me that he has the mindset that's required to go in there and pull off the upset, because he could easily avoid this fight. But he's taken it twice now within the space of 2 months. That shows some level of balls. I also know that Magomed Ankalaev cuts more weight than Cutelaba, which means that very close fights back-to-back are probably going to favour Cutelaba, who's a smaller light heavyweight, rather than Ankalaev, who has to cut a lot of weight, and now he has to cut all that weight again just a month and a half later. I feel as though This is going to benefit Cutelaba. I think he's going to go out there and get the job done. And there is going to be some kind of tension here that I think is going to play into Cutelaba's hands. Ankalaev has never had this type of tension around a fight of his, ever. Cutelaba makes this tension in every single one of his fights with... Like, he just makes the tension, he makes the controversy, he makes the build-up. He makes the fight mean more than what it should do. And I don't think Ankalaev's ever had that in his career. And I think he's going to come into this one a little bit more emotional because there's some controversy going on. He's obviously had a lot of backlash for no reason, but, you know, that's going to ruffle him up a little bit. And I think that what we saw in the first fight is that he is ready to KO Cutelaba in the first round. And that's not Ankalaev's style. You know, I've watched all of Ankalaev's fights. He doesn't go for KOs in the first round. But in that fight against Cutelaba, he started swinging him. And that's not Ankalaev. That's out of his game. That's not what he should be doing. I feel like Cutelaba's maybe a little bit in his head. Maybe a little bit under his skin. That he has to face Cutelaba twice in a row now. And I think Cutelaba's going to go out there and win an absolute war in the first round against Ankalaev and KO him inside the first. Moving on to another fight that's been announced. Curtis Blaydes versus Alexander Volkov. My next favourite fight out of the big three that got announced last night. I love this fight. And when I first saw that Curtis Blaydes Volkov had been signed for UFC Saskatoon, Canada. First of all, Cutelaba versus Ankalaev is at UFC 249. I forgot to mention that. Great card to be on. Amazing. They're probably going to be the co-main event of the prelims now that we've just lost Cyril Gane versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. I'm okay with it. I actually think this is a better fight replacement, so I'm happy. Good job. We get to see it, and Ankalaev's Dagestani as well, and it's basically the Dagestani show at UFC 249, so it makes sense. I'm looking forward to it. Cutelaba by first round KO. But Blaydes versus Volkov was very interesting to me, because when I first saw this fight get announced, you know what my first reaction was? Good for you, Blaydes. Good for Curtis fucking Blaydes for taking this fight, because Curtis Blaydes has every right to sit out on the sidelines and wait until the division looks a little bit easier for him to get his title shot. But no, he is staying active. He's getting back in there. And I like it from Blaydes. He understands that he's a young heavyweight and he's still improving every single time he goes out there. He understands that Alexander Volkov is a very winnable fight for him, I must say. I think Curtis Blaydes is going to win this fight against Alexander Volkov. And I think he's going to win it in dominant fashion as well. Alexander Volkov's last performance against Greg Hardy. You could say it was a good performance from Greg Hardy, but Greg Hardy broke his hand in that. I think he broke his forearm in that fight, if you remember correctly. And Volkov didn't do shit in that fight. Like, he kind of just outpointed Greg Hardy for 3 rounds, but, like, he should have gone out there and destroyed Greg Hardy. I wasn't impressed by Volkov's performance in his last fight, and I feel as though Curtis Blaydes knows that, and he knows that he's a level above Alexander Volkov, and he's going to go out there and put a big whooping on him. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I think this is a great opportunity for Curtis Blaydes to get another headliner in another place. Now he's in Canada. What market is he going to branch out into next? I'm looking forward to it. Curtis Blaydes riding a big win streak against Justin Big Titty Willis. Good performance there. Dominated him. Shamil Abdurakhimov, I believe his name was. Destroyed him, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, it was Shamil Abdurakhimov. Destroyed him in Abu Dhabi, UFC 242. Recently destroyed JDS as well and finished him in the first round on the feet. I think he's getting better every single time, and I'm so glad he's taken this bout. And I think he's going to win against Alexander Volkov. And the winner of this one, listen, it would be hard to deny Curtis Blaydes a title shot if he wins this one and Rozenstruik beats Ngannou. If Rozenstruik beats Ngannou, and Curtis Blaydes wins this one against Volkov, Blaydes might get his title shot. So he's very smart to book this fight in June, which is a month or so after the Rozenstruik versus Ngannou performance. Because let's say Rozenstruik gets the upset against Ngannou, which could happen. I think Ngannou's going to win. But if Ngannou wins, Curtis Blaydes is fucked for a title shot. But if Rozenstruik wins, I think Curtis Blaydes is seeing this as like, I'm gonna pick my odds. I think I'm going to beat Volkov anyway, so I'm going to stay active, and I'm going to take a fight to remind people that I'm still here in the odd chance that Rozenstruik is to KO Ngannou. I think that's what he's doing, and I think it's a very smart move. I like that he's staying active, turning right around for June. He understands the game. Activity is winning. Activity is key. The most active fighters always do well, and that's what he's doing here at heavyweight, and by the time he fights for the title, even if he has to fight one more time after this, he's going to have this experience in his back pocket, and I think Curtis Blaydes right now is the dark horse of the division. I think he might be the guy to take the throne after a while, because he's getting better every single time. He's the youngest heavyweight about right now, And he's destroying guys. And if he destroys Volkov and then destroys someone else, he's only going to be that much better since his last performance. I'm looking forward to it. I think Blaydes is going to get the job done, and I'm so glad that he took the fight because we need main events. So everyone should be very happy with Curtis Blaydes' behaviour because he has every right to pull a Justin Gaethje and be a bitch and self-sabotage his career like Justin Gaethje does, just crying about everything and wanting big fights because he's in a similar position to Justin Gaethje. There's a guy above him, Dustin Poirier, who he's lost to, you know, so he's underneath him. Similar positions, Curtis Blaydes and Justin Gaethje. Guy above them that they've lost to, they want their title shot, but the guy above them has a fight coming up with Dan Hooker, you know, like, this is kind of like the Ngannou-Rosenstruik situation right now. I feel as though Blaydes has done the right thing by being active, and I think this is going to pay off in the long run when he gets a big win over Alexander Volkov, and I'll say by KO as well on the feet. I really will. I think he could easily take down Volkov and finish him, but I think this is actually going to happen on the feet. I think he's going to want to test some stand-up with Volkov, because Volkov's stand-up is looking worse and worse every time we see him. And I think Blaydes is going to want to try some stuff out, and this is a perfect practicing time. Good job, Curtis Blaydes. I think he's going to get the job done. Moving on. Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. When I first saw this fucking fight got announced, I was very upset because we know, you know, if you're a female featherweight in the world and you just so happen to throw a punch against anyone and weigh above 145 pounds, you're in the UFC featherweight division. That's just how it works. If you're above 145 pounds as a female and you've ever hit anyone ever, you're in the UFC featherweight division. Felicia Spencer is getting a title shot. I actually don't mind this. I know that there was some conversation of Megan Anderson, but either way, Felicia Spencer beat Megan Anderson, so that argument's now gone. She has history of Chris Cyborg. I wish they wouldn't make this fight, but you know they want to stack UFC 250, and I think it's going to be a fun contest. I think Felicia Spencer might actually have a big chance here, and I think people are going to write her off. I might actually end up picking Felicia Spencer. And I know it sounds crazy, but I saw Jermaine Durandamy get Nunes in a triangle choke. Okay, I'm just saying, there's like Felicia Spencer's a very good grappler. She's very strong as well, and I just saw her pick up a much bigger woman in Zara Fern dos Santos than Amanda Nunes and slam her to the canvas. I think she's going to go out there and actually maybe pull off the upset against Amanda Nunes, and I may get some shit for that, but I think Felicia Spencer's got the perfect style. A heavy grappler. As we've seen in the past, that seems to be the way to beat Amanda Nunes, and I think she's going to get it done. Her stand-up's atrocious, but I think she's tough enough to withstand some of the damage, and I think she's good enough and aware enough to know where she wins this fight, and that's going to be against the cage, where she'll eventually drag Amanda Nunes down, and I am willing to put my reputation on the line for Felicia Spencer to score an underdog win against Amanda Nunes, and I'm looking forward to it because that's exactly what we need right now. No one wants two divisions dominated by the same person. Even if you're a Amanda Nunes fan. If you're a UFC fan, you don't want double champs. I know it's all good to like... I hope that guys get double champ status, but once the reality kicks in of having a guy ruling over two different weight classes, it just doesn't work. You know, and it ends up ruining divisions in the process. So I think if Felicia Spencer actually does get this win here, it'll be better for the UFC in general, because then Felicia Spencer can maybe defend it against Megan Anderson, defend it against Holly Holm or Jermaine Durandamy if they move up, who knows? And then Amanda Nunes can go back down, and then we can have an interesting conversation about, can Nunes win as an underdog going up in weight to 45? Then it resets the program, it resets the interest in the division, and I'm looking forward to it, and I think Felicia Spencer might get it done. I understand that that's a very big underdog prediction, but I actually think she has the style to do it. So, I'll pick Felicia Spencer. Good job. Yeah. Juicy enough underdog. I'll risk my reputation for that, for sure. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Great fights. Cutelaba versus Ankalaev is my most anticipated one. I'm looking forward to this one. This is literally bigger than any Jones fight in the past fucking 2 years. I'm looking forward to it. Come on, Cutelaba. Ion Cutelaba is going to win by KO in the first round. I said it the first time. Does he have a lesser chance of doing it now? Yes. I'm still picking him to win by KO in the first round. And if he wins this fight, and whoever wins this fight, whether it be Magomed Ankalaev and Ion Cutelaba, they are going to be the next front runner at light heavyweight. And I'm looking forward to what matchups we can see them take on next. Because I know there's a guy in Alexander Rakic, who's from Eastern Europe, as is Ion Cutelaba. And I know that there is a UFC Kazakhstan but it's a little bit close to UFC 249. So maybe I'm getting a little bit overexcited, but there's big fights on the line for the winner of this fight. I think Cutelaba wins in the first round. I'll pick Felicia Spencer by first round submission. I know I'm crazy, but I actually think I've got something there. I think Felicia Spencer's being a little bit overlooked. She's a big girl and she can take down bigger girls than Nunes. But Blaydes is going to KO Alexander Volkov in the second round as well after a first round of complete ground and pound domination. He's then going to have Volkov thinking about the takedowns and land the KO punch that he did on JDS in the second round, finishing Volkov and establishing himself in everyone's memories in the heavyweight division. Great fights got announced, and also if you wanted me to break down these other ones quickly. Arman Tsarukyan versus Davey Ramos, UFC Portland, Oregon. Great fight, I'll do that. Really good. I'm looking forward to it. I wanted to see Tsarukyan versus Hernandez. These are both high ranked lightweights that are just outside the rankings. I get it. Let's make the fight. Let's make it happen right now. Arman Tsarukyan coming off a big win against Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He's been out for a very long time, Arman Tsarukyan, but he's young. I think he's going to improve more, and I think he's going to get the job done against Davey Ramos. But Davey Ramos, again, was on a bit of a streak himself before Makhachev, so we'll see what happens. He did take a lot of damage in that Makhachev bout. I guess we're going to start to see how good Makhachev really is, because Tsarukyan and Makhachev had a really tough fight. And if Tsarukyan can go out there and destroy Davey Ramos in a round or two, we're going to know how good Tsarukyan is all I'm going to say. Moving on to another big fight. Not big fight. Phil Rowe versus Cole Williams. UFC Portland, Oregon. Cool. Phil Rowe from the Contender Series. Not much to really say. He's probably going to win. And I look forward to it. He's a good prospect. Cool story. Next fight. Billy Quarantillo versus Gavin Tucker. Again, great fight. UFC Lincoln, Nebraska. Can Quarantillo increase his streak in the UFC? This was the Ultimate Fighter finalist, I believe. And I hope that he gets it done. A great contender fight with Billy Quarantillo, who's riding a lot of hype right now since his last win. Good job. Great fights. I'm looking forward to them. Goodbye. Click that button there. See you later. Let's go Cutelaba. Okay, if karma exists, Cutelaba should win in the first round by KO. End of story.